welcome to Shop Talk. I'm JayLeonardJ.
I'm Jonathan Lindsay.
And we are here live at Tapestry Music Store in Vancouver, British Columbia. We're actually in a real guitar shop. This is our monthly series. Every first Wednesday of every month on my page, we'll be doing a little segment here, and I'm excited.
Yeah,
we have a
Shop
cool
Talk.
We have a cool topic today. Okay, so our topic today is we've been playing guitar for a long time.
Yeah,
and the things that
How long have you been playing for?
Chunk.
I'm gonna say for me, 30 years.
30 years?
Probably.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, around we're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're men now.
We're getting
We're
old.
not boys. And
not young whippersnappers anymore.
And there are things that I decided, when you're like a little puppy, that I like this, I don't like this, I like this, oh, this is cool, this is not cool. And as you grow up, your tastes change.
They do.
What you like, maybe you don't like so much anymore. What you didn't like, you find beauty in. So today we're talking about, we're going to pick 3 pieces of gear or things guitar related that we have changed our minds about over the last chunk of time that we've been playing guitar, right? So, who do you want to start, or do you want me to start? How do you want to do this today?
I don't know. Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay,
or flip a coin.
Here. We're gonna do rock, paper, scissors.
All right, ready?
1, 2, 3. Come on,
gotta do it again.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Best out of 3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh!
Oh man!
Wow, we're on a heater. 1, 2, 3. Oh!
All right.
There's no way.
This is just not working.
Okay. I'm gonna start.
You go first.
Okay. So here's something that when I was a puppy and a kid, my first guitar was a Fender Stratocaster. I was very lucky. I had this beautiful white Fender Stratocaster.
A real Fender Stratocaster.
Oh, American.
Whoa.
That was my first guitar.
No
my
way.
dad got it at a what do you call it? A used, like one of those pawn shop kind of things.
Sure.
And it was a gorgeous piece of equipment. And one thing, it had the single coil pickups on it. And the one thing I always had in my head is I could never respect a Stratocaster with a humbucker bridge. I could never do it.
Ooh.
I thought, because in my opinion,
that hurts.
I know, when I was a kid, in my opinion, the best position on a Stratocaster was the bridge middle position. And to this day, I think that's, of all the positions on Strat, that's probably the best sounding one. And so the idea of
I don't know if
destroying a perfectly good Strat by putting a humbucker in it, that was just sacrilege. And also, humbuckers are the output's way off, and it's really warm sounding, and it's it's just a whole different tonal taste than the other 2 pickups. So I thought, what, HSS, is that what they call it? Or SSH, I always get the order wrong.
HSS is the common acronym there.
Yeah. So I thought, nope, never going to happen. That's not the right guitar. There's too many downsides to it. It just doesn't match. I have to change my settings on my amp. That's for like rockers. That's for people that don't even use the other positions. They're always on the bridge. That was my opinion.
Yeah.
And then about, 5 years ago or so, I was at NAMM, and I needed to borrow a guitar, right? So because I needed to get some sounds ready in the night, and I didn't have a guitar. So I called my friends, and my friend was able to lend me this Friedman HSS guitar.
It's a lot of S's.
I know. But anyway, I get it there, and I'm like, okay, cool, thank you so much. I was so glad to do it. And then I'm, kind of dialing in some sounds in the room, and listening to it in my headphones, and all of a sudden I kind of went like,
You played a lead with the humbucker, and you're like,
I think this is kind of awesome. I think this is kind of perfect. And so before you know it, I have, I ended up making myself have a Friedman HSS guitar, and it is now the most used guitar in my entire collection.
Well, it's very versatile.
It's incredibly versatile. And the things that I didn't like about, I thought I would not like, I actually love.
Really?
So I like the fact, I'm a telly guy, so I'm used to, the bridge being a little bit louder than the neck, because the neck has all this chrome in it, right?
Yeah.
On an SSH guitar, that's like times 100, really. It's a huge jump. But, when you want to do a guitar solo, it is so much like so satisfying that I could have a really dynamic, clean, clear sound when I'm doing rhythm and like, you know, like neck pickup stuff. And then when I want to rock out in solo, I go to the bridge and the bridge pushes the amp. So I get extra saturation, extra cut, all the stuff that I want when I'm doing the solo. It's
really ideal.
It's ideal.
You go to hit that solo, you want to be louder, you want to be bolder anyways, right?
And now when I play like a Strat with like a single coil pickup, when I get to the bridge, it just sounds wimpy.
You need a boost or something.
Yes, exactly. I need to add the gain that I'm missing from the humbucker. And then the in-between position, I found a way to get that in-between sound in a much better place. Well, I wire mine up in a certain way that when I go in the in-between position, I have 500K pots going into it. It shares a volume and a tone knob, and I get full clarity, and it works out really, really, really nice. And
are both coils of the humbucker wired into it?
Yes. So I thought that I would end up having to do a thing where I have to split it. And I have like a Pacifica where you can split it, but I actually just keep it stock. I don't do the 2 tone knobs on my SSH guitars. So I do 1 tone knob, so there's no like, you know.
That's something that always bugged me about Strats too, is like you got 2 different tone knobs on there, and one of them's like just for the bridge. It's
exactly.
Like, what do you need that for?
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I have it so that when I'm on the bridge pickup, everything's 500K, or if I'm in that in-between position, neck and bridge, it's 500K. And then when I get to the other pickups, it's 250. Yeah. And I do that with stacked pots.
Stacked pots.
And then
that
I use
a
super switch. I have a super switch.
Right, yeah. Those are like monster size switches with all those poles on them.
Exactly. That's cool. It's really, really cool. And then like, because sometimes when people do the bridge pickup, like there's a couple different tricks people can do to get the 250K with the neck in the middle and 500 with the bridge, but it always ends up making the in-between positions sound bad, you know, because as you end up, you know, you get the resistor and it kind of loads it too much. The way I have it, I get super clarity, and it's the best. It actually is the best, and that is something I will like. I don't think I could actually own a normal Strat. It would have to have a humbucker in it now. I never thought I would say it, but I actually think that's the ideal sound and the ideal thing. Everything else is not right to me anymore. So that's the first thing that I've had a major change over.
I think unless you're playing like a surf rock band or something, it just makes sense to have that humbucker in there because it just gives you more versatility. I've gotten rid of, I think, all of my straight single coil Strats to this point.
Right? You know what it is? It's like it's also the Strat single coil pickup. Like I'm a Telly guy, and the Telly bridge pickup is just so good. It's so much. It's like it's beautiful and sizzly and snappy and, you know, thick in a way. And then so when I play a Strat single coil, it just sounds like a sad Telecaster, like a Telecaster, just like, you know, like just maybe one day when I grow up I can be a Telecaster bridge pickup, you know. But
so just get rid of it altogether and put a humbucker in there.
Get rid of it.
Then you can stamp all over that Telecaster.
Oh, buddy, forget about it. And then now I got this beautiful, and it definitely makes the guitar more of a rock guitar, though.
It is, yeah. I mean, this is definitely for like if you're playing rock specifically. If you're playing blues and you want like a real classic tone, yeah, maybe not. But for like pop, rock, any modern stuff, yeah, I think that's the way to go.
It also makes the guitar so versatile.
Yeah, you can grab one guitar, you can get a majority of classic tones out of that in a pinch, you know, especially if you know what you're doing, tweaking stuff.
I think it also helps that I'm kind of at that stage where I just don't keep everything at 10 all the time anymore. Like when I was younger, everything's just always at 10.
Well, everything's better at 10.
Everything's better at 10. So now I'm a little bit older, you know. I play with the knobs a little bit more, and so you're using that guitar. You can really warm up things and brighten things up. It's growth, maturity.
You're maturing in your years.
So what is the first thing that you've or the things that you've changed your mind about?
Well, for me, the first thing on my list that I've completely changed my mind about has to be Floyd Rose bridges.
Floyd Rose bridges?
Or like a double locking trim.
Okay.
For the longest time, I didn't want anything to do with them. I wouldn't be caught dead playing with one of those. They seemed so uncool. They're such a thing of the 80s, super complicated. Any of the shops I was working in, if a guitar would come in like that, we were like, no, we don't want it. We don't want to sell it. Nobody wants a Floyd Rose. Nobody should use a Floyd Rose. It's just a pain in the ass. And that was my thinking for like a good 20 years. I was like, I don't want those. And if I saw a guitar player that I really admired, and then I saw they had a Floyd Rose, I was so disappointed. I was like, oh like no, they're using a Floyd. Like, oh, that's brutal. And then I got one. And it completely changed my life.
Really? Okay.
I've always been like a Strat guy, and I love tremolo, but the issues with the trem, you're always having to like lube your nut slots. You're always having to like work it in. Every time you use it, if you use it in a large way, you're tugging on the G string and the B string afterwards to get it back in tune. It's just this constant like fight with the guitar, and you're always having to maintain it. And with the Floyd Rose, I'm just like,
Are you an aggressive whammy guy, or are you like a baby shimmer?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. I was never like super aggressive with it, although with the Floyd, you can be aggressive and get away with it, which you can't do on most guitars. So it does turn you into a bit of a hooligan in that way, where you can get away with all kinds of stuff. But just the peace of mind that it's always in tune. Every time I pick up the guitar, it's in tune. And then using it, like the control you have over the pitch, it's this freedom of expression that you don't really get with any other tremolo type system. I mean, like any double locking.
So would you say it's your favorite tremolo system?
Absolutely.
The Floyd Rose.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're gonna have to sell me on this. I haven't actually spent a lot of time with the Floyd Rose, but when I did, I remember this was like back in my youth. Am I gonna be one of those guys with the humbucker on the Strat with the Floyd Rose? This is what you're trying to turn me into here?
It's like it's basically my midlife crisis. It's super Strats with Floyd Roses.
It's super 80. You know what it is? Because when I was coming up in guitar, nothing was more lame than the 80s.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
So
we were both coming up like in the 90s,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And it was like the 80s
Grunge,
were just so cringy, and it was like guitar solos were unfortunately cringy.
Yeah,
and it was just like the everything to do with the 80s was. You just wanted to push it away and forget about it, and it wasn't cool.
Humbuckers in the bridge, Floyd Roses,
all that sort of stuff.
And so I remember at the very, very beginning, actually, I remember there was a point where I was considering putting a Floyd Rose, and then I was like, because I had my Strat, the Strat that I had, right? I had it in my head because you read the guitar magazines, you'd see guitar players with Floyd Roses. I was really young. Oh, I should put a Floyd Rose, and I remember. The guy at the guitar store looked at me and he said, like, you do not do this to your guitar. It's going to ruin it. Floyd Roses are the worst. They suck. If you do, and that just stuck in my head ever since that day. And I'm like, so ever since then, I can't Floyd Rose, come on. The little nut and the thing like that. That is,
there's definitely a lot of parts to it, and you need tools. If you break a string, it's game over on that guitar. You definitely have to really want to have a high performance tremolo system to commit to a Floyd Rose sort of thing. But if you do appreciate all that and you use that type of a trem, it's awesome.
Are you the kind of guy with the little Allen key in the headstock of your guitar?
No, but they make a little magnetic thing, like a little mini Allen key with a magnet that just magnetizes to the tuners. Those are handy to have.
It's okay. So Floyd, it's funny that you mention the tremolo system, the Floyd Rose tremolo system, because my other change of opinion actually has to do with another tremolo system.
Okay,
and that is
one far less superior.
Oh wow. Okay, so this one is on the Jazzmaster Bridge. Okay, the Jazzmaster Bridge, the Jazzmaster tremolo system. So the Jazzmaster has a very unique system in that the strings sit on the bridge, and when you use the tremolo, it moves with it.
This is my second favorite tremolo system.
It's amazing.
It's a nice one.
I just like the feel is wonderful and everything like that. Now, it's not just Jazzmasters that use that kind of bridge, right? It's Jaguars and Bigsby Telecasters, right? Bigsby Telecaster. So if you look at a Bigsby Tele, like that one we have, that Squire one over there, it has a Jazzmaster Bridge. Jazzmaster Bridge is
Right, the bridge itself. Sure. Yeah.
yeah, and Jazzmaster bridges like for there you go.
There it
Look
is,
at that.
that gold
See,
one.
look at that little
That's the
Jazzmaster
one.
Bridge there. Now
And it's got a humbucker too.
yeah, wrong position though.
Yeah.
we did another video on.
We talked about it.
About humbuckers in the bridge position of Italian, if that is sacrilegious now. But like you could see that has it. Now, one thing that I will say is that most of my friends that have a Bigsby Tully or a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar, the first thing they do is they remove that Jazzmaster bridge, that little unit there, right? Where they pick up.
Pretty
They
much
remove
everybody
it,
does.
And they change it with either a Mustang bridge or a Mastery is one. Some people, there's another type of bridge called a Tough Set, which is really popular now. Stay Trem. There's all of these aftermarket ones, right?
It's a whole cottage industry.
It's crazy. And like literally almost all my friends that gig one of those guitars, Bigsby Telly or something, even me, even for years and years and years, I was a Mastery on my Mastery kind of guy. And within the last, 6 years or so, I have refallen in love with just the stock Jazzmaster bridge system. Now, the reason why people don't like it is because they're very prone to be rattly.
Yeah, all those little parts moving around.
The strings jump out of the saddles.
Yeah,
it's like it's not.
The saddles tend to sink too.
The saddles tend to sink, and all of these things.
That's a nasty thing.
And what I've realized over the years is just like I just wasn't setting it up right. There was like a couple different things you can do to that bridge to make it rock solid, and it actually offers a lot of pros. So the most
Do tell.
See the Mastery bridge. Right. So remember how the Jazzmaster bridge goes like this, right?
Yep.
The Mastery bridge does not. It's really fat. So the idea
like locked in,
and the strings kind of go around like back and forth, kind of saw it.
Yeah.
And that uses like a very slippery metal. Okay, so that's what I used for years and years and years. And what I realized when I went back to Jazzmaster Bridge, the feel of the trem is not as nice. Like it's because what happens is there's more friction.
You lose the rock, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. The rock gives you the smoothness and gives you that, and the scrape makes it less enjoyable.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right. And the other thing I realized is, especially with not so much with Jazzmasters and Jaguars, but specifically with the Bigsby ones, I found that tuning was actually better on the stock Jazzmaster bridge than on the Mastery because the Mastery is not supposed to move, right?
Yeah.
But the strings are sawing it, right?
Yeah.
And inevitably there is a little bit of play, and it eventually, and then there's springs on the saddles and things. I find that it starts binding up because there's a really big steep angle with the Bigsby because there's that bar.
Yeah.
And it binds it up, and it just I actually find that the tuning's better on the stock Jazzmaster. And now the other mod people do is something like the Mustang bridge, where the saddles are set.
Big barrels.
There's no screws,
Yep.
right? But the thing about those is the radius is set, so you can't change your radius, right? Which is not the biggest problem. But the other
as long as it matches the guitar.
As long as it matches the guitar, it's fine. But the other thing I notice is you see how the slots there are straight?
Okay.
I find that when I use those bridges, because of that rocking motion, sometimes they misalign because the string because it's a straight channel, the strings will slip on it when I move it sometimes, and it will readjust itself back because it slides. Now, the Jazzmaster saddle, the slots are actually this way. They're kind of like a, what do you call it, diagonal? Was that?
Bit of an angle.
They're at an angle. They're
offset a bit.
So what happens is the string comes in, it bends in a little bit, and then bends up. And it
that would put a little extra tension on it, wouldn't it?
It does, and it locks it in, right? So I find that, there's a couple things I do to my Jazzmaster. You just put a little Loctite in the screws, locks it right up, and then you could put like a longer intonation screw or saddle height screw on the low E so the E doesn't bump out. And with those simple, like just those two mods, your Jazzmaster bridge is great. And now all of my guitar, I sold all my Masteries. Don't have any Masteries. I had stay trims, sold them all. I'm all back to Jazzmaster. Jazzmaster bridges, they're good enough. They're gonna tell you that you need to buy new, and the new ones and the aftermarket ones are great. But like just the stock, don't sleep on the Jazzmaster. Don't give up on it yet. Just put a little bit of
Take
put
some TLC.
A little bit of TLC, a little bit. Actually, I made a video on the mods I do on my Jazzmaster Bridge.
Great.
So if you're stressed out about your Jazzmaster Bridge, before you buy the $300 aftermarket one, check out that video. That is my second piece of gear I changed my mind about.
Wow, some pro tips there too.
Yeah, exactly. And you want make it rock. The rocking is what makes it good. Saying.
Don't lose the rock.
Don't lose the rock.
All right. Speaking of rock.
Okay.
All right. My next pick that I've changed my mind on is something that I actually used to be really into, but I'm no longer into. Got rid of all of it. And that is rack gear.
Rack gear.
Rack gear.
You're into rack gear.
I was for a while, like early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Okay.
I was like starting to get into more like, I wanted to get into pro gear. Like, what are the pros using? And I'd look at like, John Petrucci's rig and guys like that. And they'd have these massive racks backstage with all these big processors and the controllers to control everything. That was when, the pros were getting their stuff built by a lot of these guys that would specifically build rigs for them and stuff like that. And it was just so cool, but it was also like, man, that's like rock star stuff because it's so unattainable, but you could sort of build smaller ones yourselves. And so I had like a 4-space rack. So it's like, reasonable. You could pick it up and move it. Not one of these like monster things you'd have to cart around. And I had like a TC Electronics rack multi-effects processor in there, and then like a power strip that was like a power conditioner.
Did it have the two things that pull out with the lights? As the pull-out light tray?
It did. That one, it didn't have the lights.
Okay.
It had, you could buy like an XLR light that would go
Ooh,
into it.
yeah, the little gooseneck one. Yeah.
But like back then, like everybody was into power conditioners. It was like the thing you had to get like a power conditioner, like a Furman or something like that. If you didn't have a power conditioner, you weren't pro. And it took up like an entire rack space just for like a power bar. So I had that, and then I had like a little drawer that pulled out with a few pedals in there. So
and they're hardwired in.
And they're wired into a little switcher. Then you'd use a MIDI board to control all that stuff, and then you'd have your amp, and it was just this big sort of supercomputer rig with all these flashing lights everywhere and stuff like that. And it was like super cool. It was like a little mini version of what all the big pros were doing. And then it all seems well and good. It took forever to like set that thing up and program it.
We didn't have like a special like cable, that had the multi out, and you just kind of go like, you have one of those.
I didn't have like a snake type thing. It wasn't quite that
Not at that level.
Not at that level.
Gator case.
Yeah, I had it was a Gator or SKB or something. I don't know what it was. But it all seems good until you have to like carry it around and go and set it up at a rehearsal or at a gig or something like that. And there's all this stuff, and you got like a flashlight trying to see what's going on in the rack and stuff like that. And eventually it's just like, what am I doing here with all this gear? This is crazy. And so I got rid of all of it. I don't have any rack gear anymore, and rack free living for a good 10 years now. And I bet you rack gear is going to come back though.
Oh, it's going to come back. You know why?
I think it's on its way back.
If there's any reason to have a rack, it's the tuner. Do you remember like you'd watch
full rack space tuner? Yeah.
Any 80s like live concert, you'd see just going off in the background. That was rad, man. That's worth the price of it. And you can have one.
I think they still make them. You get like a Korg one, rack mount tuner. It's this massive thing.
Did your rig have one? You didn't have one.
No,
come on.
Wait. I only had 4 spaces.
That's worth a space, bro. You gotta get the Korg bad boy.
See, there's the G-Force. That's the one I wanted. I had the G major. The G-Force was the one the pros had. If I had a bigger rack, then I would put if I kept going with it, I would have got the tuner in there and probably got like I remember looking at like Lexicon reverb processors and delay processors, like an entire rack just for reverb and another one just for delay.
I'm going to make a case for the rack unit because I kind of think they're rad.
Like they're going to come back, man.
But I think nowadays I get you because like a pedal, like a reverb pedal nowadays, like a Strymon or whatever, they're so good. They're so wonderful sounding.
That's probably just as powerful as one of those old.
Probably more. There's more. There's more like fidelity. There's more. The conversion's better. But like back then, like those racks sounded like the digital, at least digitally, they sounded so much better than the little pedals. Like a rack chorus. That was so rad.
Well, there's so little for pedals back then too. Like in the heyday of racks, there were hardly any pedals, and it wasn't until a long time later that the real boutique pedal boom took off. So
do you remember like pre-Mark bass, when all the bass players you played with, they would come in and they would have like, you know, their Aguilar pre, and then they're like, there's like a QSC power amp and the tuner. Oh man. And they would bring the big rack and their big ass thing. Oh man, what a time to be.
Prices are already on the way back up now too. Like for a while there, like rack stuff would be like, it would be in the back corner of a pawn shop, and you know, $50, $100, you could buy all these things. But now people are getting back into them.
You know what?
Nostalgia's kicking in, I think. And
digital modeling, man. That's what it's all about. Like people like the Helix has a rack unit, a Fractal, and the rack ones are more powerful than the floor unit. So most people, you could just get the rack, get that, add a couple other rack spaces for stuff so you don't use up your DSP so much on your like Fractal or whatever.
There you go.
And then floor pedal. See, it's coming back. So maybe you will
I
change your mind on the mind change that you had.
I think as guitar players, we change our mind multiple times over the course of our careers.
I'm changing my mind right now. You get me on this Floyd Rose thing here.
You're going to get a Floyd Rose and a rack.
I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it. All right. Okay. So that brings us to our last choice. Okay. So here's one. And actually, my last choice, it's a new thing.
A new thing?
It's a new thing. And it's actually partly inspired by you.
Oh.
Partly inspired by you. So this is something I've recently changed my mind on. And that is thinner guitar strings are actually kind of rad. Okay? They're actually kind of rad. So, you know, there's like a trend. Like all of the things that we're mentioning is just the 80s. It's just like stuff that you didn't like in the 80s is coming cool again. It's Stevie Ray Vaughan ruined it for everybody. Stevie Ray Vaughan convinced the whole world that if
you need like 13s or something.
Yeah, you need big strings. And so what ended up happening is like when I was getting up, you know, playing guitar, like 10s was the bare minimum, right? And then, you know, 11s, you're a man if you're doing 11s and everything like that. You do 11s?
Or 12.
Oh, you're 12?
11 or 12. Yeah.
11 or 12. Wait, plain G on the 12 or wound G?
Wound.
Wound G.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that. This guy's a real rock star. Like, you want to go big, you want to go thick, and if you don't, you're kind of like a, you know, kind of girly. You're not a man.
Used to scoff if you use 9s. It was like, oh, 9s.
No, yeah, exactly, right? And
can't play real strings. What's wrong with
the
you?
tone's not going to be good, brah. The tone's not good. You got to get those big fat strings. That was like, and it was like pre-programmed in my head.
Oh yeah.
And so
macho strings.
You know what it was? It was like, I think it was like the 90s was a lot of like yo bro kind of culture. Like everyone had like their like dish plate watches. Like everyone had a watch that was like that wide and like that tall. You know, and then like, yeah, they had like the thickest strings on the guitar. I played Telecaster, put the action up like this much so there's no buzz, you know? And so I for years and up until recently, I'm 10 to 48. That was my set. String Joy 10 to 48. And then what ended up happening is recently I usually do one giant String Joy kind of shipment every year, right, of strings. And I was like, you know, I'm kind of at the end of my string thing. I was like, you know what? I need to start experimenting with strings. I need to kind of try something new because, you know, my main problem was I break so many strings. I'm a big string breaker, right?
Yep.
So I was like, maybe I should, you know, try some different things. So I was like, let's go up. So I moved all my strings to 11s.
And that would be the common sort of thought would be you go to a thicker string.
Go to a thicker string.
It's going to be stronger. You're not going to break it.
Yep. So I got the 11s in there. I'm playing and kind of doing my thing. And then it's harder to play. So like my strumming was a little bit like more caught up, you know, and my hands it wasn't like it was painful to play, but it definitely felt it wasn't as fun to play, right? But I was like, I could muscle my way through it. Like maybe I just need to get used to the 11s, and then you go. But then what I realized is I started playing gigs, I'm breaking just as many 11s as I was breaking 10s. You know,
it was probably playing them harder than you would.
That was before. 100% right because I was doing a little bit more effort to move it here. I was doing more effort here and more effort. And before you know what, I'm popping the strings more and more and more. And so anyway, I was kind of getting a little downtrodden. You're like, hey, you use 9.5.
9.5s, yeah. 9.5 to 44 on Fender scale guitars.
On Fender scale guitars. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, so what I did is I bought a set of 9s and I bought a set of 9.5s and I put the nines on
You're like, whoa.
And I was like, and then I put them on. I'm like, you know what? Because every time I picked up like a Fender guitar off the rack, nines, right?
Yeah,
I
usually
them,
nines.
You're like, whoa, these kind of feel wimpy, right? And then so now I'm
girly strings.
Kind of girly. Now I'm approaching it with a clear, unbiased mind. I'm playing the nines, and I'm kind of going, and I'm kind of jamming around, trying some licks, and put some music on my computer and seeing how they feel, get used to it. And I'm going, oh, this feels pretty good. And
Pretty nice, huh?
And now, like, I'm playing more expressive. I'm playing more microtonally because I have more control over the bend because it's a lot more. And then what I find too is I'm jamming, and I'm finding my solos just sound. I'm playing better solos because there's nothing in the way. And then I'm realizing that when I'm playing rhythm and I'm playing my solos, I'm not playing my guitar as hard. It's just I just naturally, because what happened is when I realized that there's less tension in the string, everything in my body just relaxes.
Yeah.
It just kind of calms down, and I'm not so.
You're not
fighting the guitar
and
battling the guitar, and my big thing was like, and I'm a popper, right? Like I pop the strings when I play, like I kind of
slap and pop. Yeah.
And I find that it's actually more enjoyable to slap and pop the same way that a pop like bass player, they go for thinner strings because they get more of that fret pop. They get more of that fret kind of sound, and I'm able to channel more of that fret thing. Right?
Whoa, that's cool.
And before you know it, I'm kind of going like, man, nines. Like I just used up. I'm gonna go today. I'm gonna buy, like, I see like a couple sets. I'm gonna buy a bunch more. I'm gonna keep experimenting. I've been trying it. I know on different guitars. I might even just switch them on my Gibsons too. I'm going all in.
There we go.
On the
Don't stop at nines. You go eights, sevens.
I could try go, and I actually
apparently Billy Gibbons uses sevens.
Yeah, everyone, like Jimi Hendrix, like, he used 10s, 10, 13, but then he goes to 15, which is thinner than a set of nines. And then the lower three strings are like, the three strings from like an 8 set.
Yeah, those goes to like 38 or something.
And
weird.
like, is his tone full? Is his tone rich?
He was all right.
His tone
from
is
what I've heard.
His tone is wonderful. And that's the other thing I realized. Like, my sound was it actually sounds really, really good. There's like a clarity to it and everything. There's like a nice mid-range kind of thing going on. And like when I'm listening to myself playing, I could hear like my notes sound better because I'm not forcing the notes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my bends are more in tune. I'm just playing more in tune because you're not,
not going like,
not rushing it. So I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be, humbucker strats with Floyd Roses and nines. But that's my recent thing.
I'm already there.
The jury's still out. I'm still experimenting. But I am now like I might just be a 9 guy. We'll see. I put 10s on my Jaguar, which are essentially like 9s.
Yeah, that's really short scale. Like 24 inch or something.
Yeah. I usually put 11. I used to do 11 tops, 12 bottoms on my Jaguar. I put 10s on it. Boom goes the dynamite.
Just like that. Yeah. Wow.
Big day for me.
Well, that's good to hear. I remember there's a YouTube video. I forget who did it, but it was sort of like a scientific thing they tried to do with the different string gauges, because that was always the sort of popular opinion was the thicker the string, the more tone you get. And if you use thin strings, like 9s, for example, you get less tone. And so that was a reason to use the thicker strings just to get the more tone. And so someone did a video basically disproving that, where they tried a bunch of different string sets on the same guitar, I think, and recorded it and, analyzed it. And it was maybe even the reverse, was maybe they're getting better tone from the thinner strings.
I saw it because I've been going down this rabbit hole. And it was Rick Beato and
there we go.
Red Shull. They did a video on
it was them that did it. Oh.
And it's true. They did a comparison.
Well, they know a thing or two about guitar.
And it's true. It actually, it's a different sound. I find, especially when you have high gain, the thinner strings work better because there's more. Because when you do the, when they were playing them after another, the thicker strings, it was just fatter and fatter and fatter till you're losing. It's all kind of
at a certain point it must kind of get a little too chunky.
Yeah, but I've been enjoying this 9 journey.
Well, I'm glad to hear.
So, and it's you.
There you go.
It's all you. Look at that.
There we go. I'm just always trying to make things easier.
This old dog can learn new tricks.
There you go.
And what is your last?
My last one. All right. Somewhat of a continuation of our 80s thing, because like you said, coming up as a guitar player in the 90s, we basically hated the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'd heard the 80s tones so much growing up that I just despised them. And there was one particular thing that always bugged me, and I started getting into playing Strats in the late 90s probably, and I really liked the sound of a Strat neck pickup more than anything. Mm-hmm. And then eventually grew to like having a humbucker in the bridge. But I always hated the position 2 and 4 on a Strat. You know, like the clucky in between positions. Yeah. Which were our classic Strat tones. But somehow the 80s ruined that tone for me because it was kind of a couple things. One was I think I heard way too much like Stevie Ray Vaughan. And so I was like associated with like way too much of that style blues, and I wasn't really into blues coming up. I was like into jazz and into more like anything that wasn't like pentatonic sort of stuff. I was like, oh, that's, you know, not my thing. I want to look for like the weird notes and stuff like that. And so there's part of that, but then also if you listen to like pop music in the 80s, like that like clean chorus compressed tone in like an in-between sort of position was on like every single like
that iconic
song.
That, you know, or like romantic comedy of like the high school comedy.
Yeah, it's like every sitcom that was on had that sort of tone. Every like LA produced pop song had that sort of tone. And so coming up in the 90s with grunge and everything, I was like, I hated that tone. So that bugged me for the longest time. It was just like I would play.
Did you like chorus?
Well, that was the other thing too, is I hated chorus as a result. Like chorus was just like one of those things like, ugh. Like anytime I heard that clean Strat with an in-between sound through chorus, just, I was like, oh, that's like the ugliest tone ever. I just can't stand that. And for years, I wouldn't even touch that on a Strat. Like I would stay away from those positions. I had like a 57 reissue.
It had only 3-way switch.
Yeah, and it came with a 3-way switch, and I didn't upgrade it to the 5-way because I didn't want those positions. I was like, those are horrible, absolutely horrible positions. And now they're probably my favorite positions on the guitar.
I've always liked those.
I still love a Strat neck pickup, but that like 2 and 4 is really something like any of my like super Strat guitars that are just 2 humbuckers. I'm always like, I really wish I had that middle pickup in there just so I could get those 2 and 4 positions.
What's better, the neck middle or the middle bridge? What's of the two? What's the one that you?
It depends. For the most part, I kind of like the neck and middle combo. That's the one I gravitate to. Like I'll play that one a lot, but I find that the bridge and middle kind of cuts through better sometimes too, especially in a band mix where if you want it to sound like that clucky in between Strat thing, it'll just fit through a little better if you use the 2 and the 4.
You know,
the bridge in the middle.
I very rarely use the neck middle.
Really?
I actually go straight to the neck. I'm either like if I'm going a 3 single coil Strat, it's either the neck pickup or I'm at that bridge middle. Those are like the two for me. I feel like I lose too much volume because you lose volume.
That's the thing. You lose some of that. So it depends on the tone you're using and the setting that you're playing in.
Yeah, the brightness of the bridge middle I find help it cut through even though you get a little bit of volume loss.
Yeah,
Whereas
definitely cuts.
The middle neck you kind of lose the volume and it's still warm. But then again, like how many great songs?
I think one of the players that kind of turned me on that too is Wayne Krantz.
Oh.
Because all of a sudden he's playing a Strat through like a Marshall doing like jazz, funk, fusion sort of stuff. And a lot of times he'd be in that 2 and 4 position, probably just for noise canceling reasons, you know, because that's an added bonus on a lot of those guitars. But all of a sudden I was hearing that tone. I'm really digging his playing. I was like, this is cool. And something about like those jazz voicings on a Strat, if you're in position 2 and 4, it's got a really beautiful tone to it. And
when Wayne Krantz kind of was really making that kind of name for himself, I remember listening to his tone. I was like, that's such a fresh, badass tone.
It was so cool.
It was like a Marshall at Jubilee or something like that.
Yeah, something
Marshall
like that.
Jubilee head with a Strat, which most people say, oh, you know, you got with the Marshall, it sounds better with humbucker. He was using a Strat. Jubilee's not really known for being like a clean jazz amp.
Oh no. Even just playing like a head and cab in jazz is unheard of.
Then he had the Mooger Fooger ring modulator.
Ring mod, yeah.
And like,
and like a octave or like an OC2 or something.
It was so fresh and so awesome. It was so fresh. And then like that was the sound. That was the sound for me. I thought that was just ridiculous.
So cool.
If there's any way to fall in love with the in-between position on a Strat, I think that's the one. Oh my gosh. Well, that is it for this episode. So if you actually kind of like this vibe, every week on the Tapestry Music YouTube page, we actually have a show called Big Shiny Tones.
Big Shiny Tones. Oh, I got the mug right here.
Oh yeah, I know.
Look
Yeah,
at
right away. Where we go through the news and do stuff just like this. So check that out as well. Or
comes out every Thursday.
Every Thursday, and then first Wednesday of every month, we'll be doing a shop talk on my page.
Nice little spin-off.
Like wonderful stuff. So yeah, please check out the links and descriptions, and it's always a pleasure. I love doing these things.
Yeah.
And I guess that being said, that's it for us. If you have a cool thing that you've changed your mind about, write in the comments section below.
And let us know what you think of the gear that we've changed our mind on as well.
Maybe they think we're completely wrong and we should have just stuck with our, our original opinion.
And there's a good chance we'll change our mind again.
Oh, man, just watch. Just watch. I'm constantly changing my mind. And I guess that being said, we'll see y'all soon. Take care. Cheers.